I went from struggling to focus for 30 minutes a day to pulling 12-hour workdays without burnout to achieve my goal. And over time, I've learned several lessons and habits to make this possible. Back when I was 15 though, literally all I did was consume and play video games, but I always had a dream of becoming a YouTuber. So I knew the first step I needed to take was to learn how to stop wasting my time on these distractions. I first heard about tips like putting your phone on the other side of the room, but I learned that every single time I did this, I would just find another distraction to go to without even thinking. This would all change though once one day I was scrolling through Instagram for an hour instead of being productive, and I turned off my phone and just stared at my disappointed reflection and asked, what purpose did that just serve me? But next time I got the urge to subconsciously do the same thing, I asked that question before I lost focus. And now, making myself aware that the phone wasn't doing anything good for me, the distraction suddenly became unappealing. There's just so many stimulating things in our lives nowadays that it's so hard to stay focused because you don't think about them until you've already indulged in them. But actually taking control of that subconscious urge before you waste an hour or 2 hours of your time is an incredibly yet simple habit. Once I learned this, I finally had a fresh slate to actually be able to work on things, whether it was scripting or studying. But despite being able to focus for a few hours without distractions, I realized my number one weakness was breaks. Breaks are the easiest way to kill any momentum that you've built. I had a bad habit where I'd work for 3 hours and then I would think, oh, what a good 3 hours of work. Now let's take a little bit of a break. You know what? 15 minutes of TikTok won't hurt. And every time I would lose my workflow, and that 3 hours earlier would be the last of my work that entire day. Breaks are needed and are fine to take, but what I learned is that spending them on meaningless things is basically shooting yourself in the foot. Instead, you need to maintain that momentum with something meaningful to refresh you. For me, I learned that playing with my dog, cleaning my room, or working out, something that just empties my mind for a short amount of time, it always leaves me refreshed and ready to get back to it. These two values in themselves honestly changed my entire work ethic and what I actually thought mattered in life. And at 16, I was finally making some good progress on that YouTube channel I had been dreaming of. But even to this day, I still struggle to work sometimes because I don't think our brain knows what's actually good for us sometimes, so that's why you always have to hold yourself accountable. I realized as I was improving myself and building my channel, I was also still making mistakes and returning back to bad habits like humans do. So at the end of every single workday, I would just stare at my ceiling and ask myself, could I have done better today? What are the slip-ups that I made today that I can prevent for tomorrow? I've done this every single night until it's just become a habit for me now, and honestly I think it's the number one reason I've grown, since you can't change without self-reflection. It doesn't matter if you're completely addicted to your phone or you've just missed a workout today, there is always room for improvement. But you're not going to make any improvement if you're not actually aware of what you need to improve on. Obviously these changes aren't going to happen overnight. For me, it was just like slow, steady, compounded growth, but it was getting me closer to my goals than I had ever been before. Using these 3 day-to-day values, I was finally working on something meaningful, and not gonna lie, I was probably way happier than I'd ever been just wasting my time on TikTok. But as days turned into weeks, I soon realized that life is a marathon and not a sprint, and I would have to learn to handle the biggest momentum killer, which is burnout. While work was getting done, I was constantly getting overwhelmed, losing progress, and thinking that this was just way too much for me. But what I did was change my mindset of looking at burnout as an impassable wall to an opportunity to get better. When I was in high school, I had to balance school, working out, working on my channel and everything. I had all this stuff going on, yeah. And sometimes there'd be days I just had such a pessimistic attitude, like there's no way I can continue doing this for much longer. But once I changed my mindset from I'm doing too much and I want to quit to I am capable of this and think of how much better I'll be after, I started to embrace those hard days. Sometimes life just comes at you. It's like if you have to run 1 mile every day and then you suddenly have to run 5 every day. It's gonna be uncomfortable at first, but with this mindset you will adapt, and soon that 5 miles is gonna be your new comfort zone. I hate to say sometimes that things are just difficult, but that's just how life is, which is why having the right mindset and goals is key to consistency. As the months passed, I had my ups and downs, but now that I knew how to put my time to good use and avoid things like burnout, working productively had finally led to my channel blowing up. I was 18, and now that I was out of school, I had the opportunity to double down and put twice as much work in towards my passion. But putting in all these hours led to a problem that I should have known I would experience way earlier on, which was just the feeling of being left out. I remember one day it was kind of rough. I uploaded a video that didn't do well, so I went on Snapchat and I saw stories of people posting about this insane party. Literally everybody from my school that I had went to school with, and I was never invited. I was like, what happened here? Then I realized, oh wait, I've been making Minecraft videos every single day productively. I haven't been talking to any of these people. No wonder why they didn't invite me. In my case, I was a little bit too extreme with how much I excluded myself from stuff like this, and that's the one thing I recommend in moderation, is that you actually involve yourself socially socially. I've been doing this a lot more, especially with family time. Every single weekend, I'll just dedicate some time away from work to do something social. And honestly, it kind of motivates me to stay more focused throughout the week because I want to be, satisfied with the work I've done while I'm able to enjoy these other parts of life. Having double-digit work days, improving every single day, and like I said, sacrificing my social life, I recently achieved my goal of running a successful YouTube channel. But there's one more fundamental value I could have never worked 12 hours a day without, and it was my why to do all of this. In life, I believe everything that you do should have a purpose. When I first started working hard, my only goal and my biggest dream was to become a successful YouTuber. Days when I couldn't focus, I had burnout, or I was feeling left out, I just remembered back to my why and how badly I wanted it. A lot of people will say that they don't know what they want, they don't know what to work for the rest of their life for, but the thing is, nobody does. When I was 5, I wanted to be an astronaut. When I was 9, I wanted to be a YouTuber, then a stock trader, then a lawyer, then a YouTuber again, and I was tired of waiting for an opportunity, so I went out and made one myself. When I look at all of the 12-hour days I've put in over the last year, I feel like it should have been boring and lasted forever, but it didn't. It was the best time of my life because I loved what I was doing. And after applying everything I've said in this video, I cannot go back to how little I worked 3 years ago.